So thank you all very much for this, for coming for this talk on the 37 practices of the Bodhisattva, this discussion group led by Geshe Lharampa Jampa Choedup. So thank you very much for being here tonight. And everybody has been very good at being able to attend and asking good questions and making good comments. So I'm sure that will continue again tonight. And tonight, Matthew is going to give his response to the request about his motivation for being part of this group and so on. Yangshin is not with us tonight, so Brother Dorji will be doing the translation, and that'll be wonderful. So thank you very much for that. So right now we're going to do opening prayers. So I'm going to recite in English, just the English. Excuse me, I just need to clean up my screen a little bit so I can see everything here. Okay, so we post this in English so everybody has this all at the same time. Okay. So this is the altruistic motivation, to set our motivation for our practice, for our study, for our discussion group tonight, our meditation. This is the altruistic motivation. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. The second of our opening prayers is the Action Bodhicitta prayer. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now and this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Then I'm going to go to the taking the Bodhisattva vow. So what we've been practicing, what we've been studying, discussing are the 37 practices of the Bodhisattva. So this is taking the Bodhisattva vow, that we recite this prayer every day that we do our practices. So we recite, until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. And next is the short refuge prayer. So we'll recite this twice in English and then once in the Tibetan. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sangye chodang soki chonam la, Zhangzhu bardu dagni kyabsu chi, Dagi jinso ki pe sonam yi, Trola penshir sangye drupa sho. And then the four vast immeasurable qualities of bodhicitta. We'll recite twice in English and once in the Tibet. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Manam kadam yam pesem centam she dewadang dewe gurdang dempa jorchi. Dugnal dang dunal gi gudang drawar jorchi. Dugnal me pe dewa dang mi drawar jorchi. Nay ring chak dang ni dang draway dang namla ne pa jorchi. Thank you very much. So before we get started with the 37 practices, Matthew, would you please give your reply to the group, especially to Geshe La, as to your motivation for joining this group and your study of the Dharma?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And Dorji, I'll just maybe do like a sentence or two and then allow you to translate back and forth if that's would work well.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, so just to start, I'd like to thank Geshe La for taking this time every week to come and teach us, and to you, Dorje and Yangshin, if she sees this, for your work translating for us.
Chan dunta tabarishi tindiji ngamsula chuti na jawa anitri anja jato tripe tuje chenas.
And also while I'm talking and doing this to thank Lance as well for everything that he does for me and has done for me, and all the other group members who come every week. This group's been a very important thing for me, and their participation and hearing about their practice has been a big part of my own practice.
Ani means Lance da ani dela de sopa dinalo nyamshu she ani nyamchu loni she dinki samala tuji chena shugis. Tanda de sopa dinalo nyamshu she ni Quran la pento chembochi ta ani lapa pachanda botandi sha chen chwa ju di khong de nyanglin she da di chulo je de nyenga chembochi cha de tanda sopa de group de tuji chenas.
And so, Dorjin, I'm gonna go through some of what I had written, and I'll stay probably pretty close to what I'd written. Cool. So so about around 15 years ago, it was a lot of suffering that brought me to the Dharma. It was at a very low point in my life, and I was experiencing a lot of very chronic depression and some addiction problems. And then when I first stumbled upon Buddhism, I wasn't looking for it. I just came across it, and I was very instantly drawn to it. And then I have been ever since. And well, maybe I'll stop there and then I'll.
Thank you. Lot Jonga Sagangwela, Ani Tantachi, Namchula, Kura Shuya, Gizoji de Ani Kurala Donge, Tesons, Kangachi Teso, Donge de la Tenjin, and Yamchula, Ka Shoyak, Tanida, which Chasons, Kaisana Kurang, Masenanola, G Nyam Taboda, which Kurala Yachi, Karasogri, Sem Kam Tony Kanga in a re, G Kumshing and Bag Tony Kanga in a re, the Digi. Teni Kuranga Tamatsenology, Karinaji, Nyat Tabo, Katandi, Netanji, Goso, and Kuran Namchul Tripa, Kashoek, and Johnsons, Tambu Namchula, Tusti, Hako, and Kurala, Kuranga Lamsa, Namchula Party, Gamenda with the Lamsat and Jasons, and the Nini Kivan is Zunchen, and Kuran Yamche Tola Nyalesheni, Tandabat and the Dedius. All right.
And one thing that I really appreciated and liked about the teachings of the Buddha was that they were empirical rather than just being faith-based, that the teachings were meant to be experienced directly and not just something to believe in as a religious doctrine.
Korigi lapa message tachi namchu la iram ngabje che chi de namchu de chue da de pa se tinji ji bu ji mai pa khawe la ye chirin da thun ba ge tinji gi ji indi dil mise ko ganan che sons de da je to ne de indi ani dan da ti ji namchu la de ani kar su gre ji ta du gu to ni chu gi ta du gu to ni yi chi je gu ya tinji ji bu mai pa 아니 뭐서 냥추 냥내제 수수무 태가티 이제 뇽야요 바 태가티 뇽야요 바디 미세기 코랑 좋아지다 미세기야 럽첨보지 통송스.
And so around that time, about 15 years ago, the Dalai Lama was coming to Washington, D.C., which is by where I live, and he was giving a week-long series of teachings and a Kala Chakra empowerment. So I got tickets to that, and I attended that. And during that event, I had a very powerful dream about the Dalai Lama that had a very lasting impact on me.
로정아 그 공라 아니 단다 constitution 첨부 초 Washington DC 라 패송스 아니 급드디 코란 델 대교에서 constitution 첨부 초그 단다 디 칼라 차크라 동공원치나 아니 코란기 둔타 지지 그 딘지리라 어떻게 아니 버기 동공원지라 냥슈셰 티히디 아니 급티디 공스 장고 첨부초 크랑기 니람 나로라 베지 슈 첨부들이 돈에 지 때나 손스 아니 드니니 좀체네 아니 크랑라 베데 바차 등 사모제 유rum보네 바차들이 슈 첨부시 레 손스 난취게.
And then I became very deeply inspired by teachers like the Dalai Lama and Lama Yeshe, who from the Foundation for the Preservation of Mahayana Tradition, and Garchen Rinpoche. And I happened to be living right next to Garchen Rinpoche's Drikung Dharma Surya Center, and going there, which is how I found Lance, who became a very important teacher and mentor in my life.
아니 단다디 콘리라 constitution 첨부 초 최비기 라마 이시다 아니 같이 rum보체 라소바게 미세 지 슈팅다 센쇼다 생고 슈첨부 든디 그 데니 라마 넘버 이스 아니 코리기 단다 코란 슈사 디오 두구수야게 데니요사 그 텔리요라 코란 슈구여자 코란 데구여자 아니 그 드디 코란 기타 렌스 녜송스로 렌스 더 투송스 아니 렌스 코란 기타 지 게기 게침보치다 아니 코란라 미세난 그 람드히니 베미스 게침보들이 차송스.
And this group has been like an anchor that keeps me from drifting too far from the Dharma.
아니 단다기 남취 갈수 그래 디 단다가 그 religious 단다디 남취 그 로종 시에서 그 초바 춘추디 다 코란라 빼메스기 야보쇼지 차디에 스카이스나 코란야지 남취 그 로종리 타른수파 제먼저의 체도 초바 춘추디 나로라 아니 코란조 코란 가듀네 출레토하다 아니 남취라 지냥len다 지 로종 시에 투야기 고딩디 초바들 인스 아니 들 마중바나 양코 파파파 다른 도로에 그냥 가야잔 드니 콜초다다 텐토야라고 지 난도스 루조토에 데베미스기 가 계신고지 차데고도스.
And so my motivation for being here is to keep the Dharma alive in my heart and mind, and I want to find real peace and to be better able to help the people in my life and to experience the non-dual true nature of my mind before I die.
아니 코리기 가서 그랬지 미우다고 딱 군호 로종 셰고야 그냥 로종 셰고야 군호 조데 아니 코란게 셈바 나올라 따지 남취다 취세야디 지년가 첨보다 간디 마지 디 코란게 니우스 샤투야게 딘디기 체도다 코란게 미우조데 띵스 아니 때나 신가랑 코란게 지 시데 문이기 시데 녜토야다 아니 밀 파로 바셰제니 수수무세 나올라 밀 로바셰니 파펜 토토야다 아니 단다데 수수가 코란 마중ዌ라 아니 단다 데 소소 되어 살아 셈박 무니 셈빅 가수그래 ngo마데 가리미 티토 토야다 하고 토야다 칸 삼살레 셈반라 양치 딱효라고 칸니스 주여사라 논돌스디 어디디 코그 뇽초 용 토야다 셈게 ngo마데 가리미 티쿠랑 하고 토야 마싱웰 티 하고 토야 같은 지기 미우지스.
And then finally, the last thing I'll say is that though my dedication to Dharma practice isn't always as strong as it should be, that my hope is that over time the Buddha Dharma will become more and more central in my life.
아니 코리게 지 남추 로네게 토라 지 쿠란근 도바다 드디기 슈쳔보지 차 메나야스 쿠란 도바이 여바 나시기 드디기 슈쳔보지 딜 쳔셈다 도바드지 차 메나야 아니 쿠란그 레왈라 다 림시 남비기 남추디 아니 쿠란그 메세나로라 게쳔보지 조지 냥가 체슈 차야기 다 쿠란그 드디 레와제디기 예스 두이나 두세지나로라 오다라데샤. Thank you.
Thank you. 단다 디디히 좋아지죠. 단다 마티오 그 생원 처음부터 소야지도 따디 원에 내가 희의 인사를 공리게 대 단다 나이나 디스 간주 참아 망치와 그 수수수수 희의 신거요 수수를 주요 수수 뭐 신거요 상들와데 희차보 따윤데 잠반에 수수 뭐야 뭐 신거요 상말은 거란 속에 간세나 수수기 두어 전조도 야와지게 상대야다 야와지 제 미긴다가 란데체나 들다 초치문도 상대야다 버지 여러와 근데 제원데 수수 가르치게 예매다 수수 따단 루게 예매다 수수 야버지 신거서 말에 생活트머트세야 돼서 개전양가 희의 인사를 책이 나나 잡아나지 다가람 간서 참마 그 미유 다가라라 간서 참마를 때 용하게 레와만아 요스투지세.
As Matthew said regarding the to experience the new dual and the true nature of a mind, I would like to pick from that and the points to highlight that this is indeed a very important point. Because not only Matthew, many of us have this same problems. We don't understand ourselves sometimes. So knowing self is a very, very important steps ahead. So this is a very important. Try to understand the true nature of mind. Sometimes we are stuck, and we are stuck because we are not knowing who we are. So knowing self will be a huge step forward.
And the tanda Matthew ke soya te ke karase ora ngaran so lens la ta tenjo ta anu konsa changoro bo chen je ka shya ta nila tangjo ta te ta chi che korang ke chuso ta chi mese na no ngaran so chamal kangi cheta chungsun the yore tendi thebe chen la tene so so namchul gol ya hyan da wa ta sem khang lo jong lo hya ta ta te so de khasan zara ki an soya te tang an so kap da tu ta ta lonsen te tan dewa cha no de trin nam Matthew ke soya te ta ya chi ta ta ngaran so o dro zambo da dro ngemba ke thedang de ko te ta dro zambo da dro ngemba tendang ko te la tanda lane so du na no lane trin jeja te kan rog he ta ta da ji khe de dus ka din che.
So today we will be talking about our association with a good friend or bad companion or good companion. So what Matthew mentioned earlier will dovetail to this, this lines that we are going to look into. For example, when Matthew said the powerful dream that he had of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as well as his, seeking mentorship from Lens and as a spiritual guidance, as well as the suffering and the personal challenges that he had faced in his life. So similarly, earlier, Zahra also mentioned about those issues. So today we are going to talk about our associations with a bad company or good company, and it really ties very well to that point as what examples that Matthew has given before.
그렇죠. 어느 때다 단다 노디디 키초와제 단다 간서 조zam보다 종행바세도 멀리 예라 체외 깨자 자원이네 말했어. 대양 알아서 소소게 무유지 머르를 무유를 여러와 무유 때 주야라 가진 그 조차바이나 조zam보다 무유 때 주야라 가진 게 개차바이나 아니 종행바세 때 타니 제바레 마도 자위 차는 알아서 멀리 예라 매바다 상마라 소소고 만나기 따고야 당한서 단다 샴주그 생매냐네 인도 잠반에 로징요는 알아서 라냥 그 토니 제와 징송고 여베 토니 딘로고 여바 손자 안띵한서 만투가 제고도스.
So when I mention about who's your association with the bad companion or good companion, it is not to state that on the basis of like a discrimination. So a bad company and good companion is discussed or looked at on the basis of the goal individual have and how in association or in company of that good company or bad company would help you to further your goals. So that is it is explained in that context. Because otherwise, it is always advised that we all look at everyone in the same the same ways. All sentient beings are the same ways. So when we talk about who is better or who is good, it is not to discriminate them on basis or anything else, but rather who would be a better, who would help us, serve us better in achieving our goal or accomplishing our certain practices. So with that, I would hand over to Lance, and we can go ahead with whatever we were to continue from today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matthew, for the kind words that you said about us, and thank you very much for your devotion to your study and to your practice. And I'm sure that it will increase and bring great benefit to many, 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 many people in your life, because you're a young man and very sincere and very intelligent, and you will be a great benefit to many people. So thank you. Mm-hmm. And thank you to Geshe La for your comments on that and being able to relate this to our 37 practices of the Bodhisattva. So that's what we'll engage in next. So thank you.
그렇잖아. 스탠다드 Matthew 코리 로 슌슌 지인자 아니 코링기 남취라 지 호전 담배전 아니 양내 데 드리문투 숑바이나 아니 코리 지부자 많이 바 미현바라 펜톤보 쳔보 토토야게 덴데 뉴바요 덴긴 드리지레샤 가딘 체슈안예 아니 게시 라미세 단다 코리게 냐뉴 테다 아니 테가티 라니 소드마단 데와 드리지스 나와데 베메시야 오치 종송 가딘 체.
Okay, so did Geshe want to say anything? Thank you.
No. Continue, please.
Okay, very good. All right, so now I'm going to ask Zara, because she gave her talk last week. So I'm going to ask her to give the homage and the first 4 of the verses of the 37 practices, so that we can all follow this together and set our mindfulness for what our discussion is today. So I'm going to screen share this for those who don't have this paperwork in front of them. They can read this. So Zara, when you're ready, if you will begin with the title and read through the first 4 verses.
37 Bodhisattva Practices by Ngokchu Tongmi Zangpo. Homage to Lokshivara. At all times, I prostrate with respectful 3 doors of body, speech, and mind, to the Supreme Guru and the Protector Shinrezig, who through realizing that all phenomena neither come nor go, make single-minded effort for the sake of all sentient beings. The perfect Buddha's source of benefit and happiness arise from accomplishing the sublime Dharma. As that accomplishment depends on knowing the Dharma practices, I will explain the Bodhisattva's practices. 1. At this time when the difficult-to-gain ship of leisure and fortune has been obtained, ceaselessly hearing, pondering and meditating day and night in order to liberate oneself and others from the ocean of cyclic existence is the Bodhisattva's practice. 2. The mind of attachment to loved ones wavers like water. The mind of hatred of enemies burns like fire. The mind of ignorance which forgets what to adopt and what to discard is greatly obscured. Abandoning one's homeland is the Bodhisattva's practice. 3. When harmful places are abandoned, disturbing emotions gradually diminish. Without distraction, virtuous endeavors naturally increase. Being clear-minded, definite understanding of the Dharma arises. Resorting to secluded places is the Bodhisattva's practice. 4. Long associated companions will part from each other. Wealth and possessions obtained with effort will be left behind. Consciousness of the guest will cast aside the guest house of the body. Letting go of this life is the Bodhisattva's practice.
Thank you very much. Before we get started with the next group of verses, I would just like to ask everybody, do you have any questions or comments about anything that we discussed last week? And also to Bernie especially, because Bernie was the only one who didn't really get to comment on his thoughts on what we discussed. Does he have anything in particular that he would like to add at this time?
No, it's pretty straightforward. This particular verse number 4. I mean, as verse number 4 is.
There was 3 and 4 that we talked about last time.
3 and 4, 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay, but the 3 and 4. It's about avoiding negative situations and cultivating positive situations, and the role that distractions have to play in the Dharma. I mean, I could say something about that. And that's generally, I mean, anything in life, you want to accomplish anything takes effort. And effort takes time and effort. There's nothing in life that you're going to get without devoting a certain amount of time and effort to it. And if you're not willing to make that devotion, if you're always doing what amuses you, if you're always Netflix and chill every night, you're not going to get anywhere doing anything, and that includes in the Dharma. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And of course, these days, it's the disease of the young people is to always be looking at their cell phone. That's the disease of the modern day. And what I always say, what Edward Kahn has said is that modern life is one great conspiracy against the spiritual life. There's so many distractions in the modern world, it's hard to pay attention to what's important. And I think that's the reason why we have not so many enlightened people in present day America as there were in Tibet, because people in Tibet didn't have cell phones and they didn't have Netflix. So yeah, that's number 3, and it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing hard to understand there. Number 4 is talking about impermanence. And if you want to, I mean, there's a time limit. There's a time limit. You want to accomplish anything in this life, you've only got so many years to do it. And that's the years between when you're an adult and when you're so old, you can't do anything anymore, which is about the point where I am right now. So that's where we stand with number 4. I don't think either of them are hard to understand. And all I can do is just give you my commentary, just as I did right now. I don't have any particular questions about them.
Thank you very much. Dorje, would you mind translating that for Geshe
I'm
Lharampa?
sorry, I shouldn't have said so much. And you first.
Yeah, but I noted down everything you said. It makes so much sense. Thank you, Bern. Kori ki disons tanda de sonya di tanda de chidang ta susu ge zunju dang ani ducu ji tani ani jinju ya ji ma to zunju me pa ducu ma tang pa ina ani kari ne ji du tu ya ge tandi ji ma re specha sha pa na ani michi ge susu ge ti temon da bo Netflix tandi da bo ta susu ge ram ducu kancho tandi da bo chi jede pa na ani nang chu ge lobaloni je inere jainere di yungtuku mare la shemba tindi tönda koran juya mares lapa do dingdu gita ti chowa nalo la ta chi kapa yorwa la o tunso pedi tuku tunso go lo shemba tunso go pedi nasas na re tindi da wochi cha cha shas tendu ani tena shi chi dungdu gi jiso nanglo la kapa dang tunso gi pena ji chu gi nyanglin je ya gi dilo pe pa chen da bo shu chen bo shun da bo tni cha da shas ta pen nang lo la mi pe di san jing kin da pe di kepa da ani tndi gi ti nyang ni pa tndi ma bu shi bu chung wa du su sama de ji xin ne ke tu du ji Netflix se me kapa me ka yin na yin tndi ke sa ke me ba la te ni khwa na ba so ke su ngwe ni ke ka re se go re ji ma lo jong yin na re du che re du zai jing do tndi ke sa ke yo ba da ten ji ni ani pa so tanda de 가르쳐 그랬지 녀다 해 매바스나레 아니 단다지 순보존이 디스트럽션이라고 매바든들 땡지니 아니 든지 차와던 소 지신의 존재든지 인식그레스 다 이나야 당간 수 미기 지소나로라 제간수 미나레 뒤카리네 뒤최진도와 센다고지 마스나 페나다 나란다고지나 단다다 로 쳔보라고지 차사레 아니 미세다 휴휴기 제토에든지라고 개요 말이데 다 이니 뒤쇠 인지직 나로라 수수수수 셰고야든 수지 셰토나 디야고요사레스 데인디 코랑 미세 두안다 보게메데 이네 코랑 그다지 또바스나레 코랑 하고야 되다 든손다 보지 인스타 가상모마 장비기 든디 나로 라 템바이나
What's
That's a wonderful. Thank you so much.
amazing. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, thank you very much. So then tonight I'm going to recite verse 5 and 6 because they're very closely related to each other. And Geshe La, I'm sure, will go between those two verses to give his commentary on them. So I will now begin on number 5. It says, when evil companions are associated with, the 3 poisons increase. The activities of listening, pondering, and meditation decline, and love and compassion are extinguished. Abandoning evil companions is the Bodhisattva's practice. Number 6, when sublime spiritual friends are relied upon, one's faults are exhausted and one's qualities increase like the waxing moon. Holding sublime spiritual friends even more dear than one's own body is the Bodhisattva's practice.
Tadi chunjungi ti kechego marwa chi da hakoro
Shologa chicken rogorwa.
mo sholo banga pa da tupani de dong pa da tro zambo nikol
Oh yeah, las habas. Ane tangi pangri rebeti shuyade.
Okay, so shall I go ahead and explain and make the commentary on this 5 and 6?
Sure, I didn't remember to put the screen share up for that. Does anybody need that English? Or I'm sure Geshe.
Yeah, I would like to have that. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, just let me. Okay, so it was 5 and then 6. So
okay, great.
Yes. I can't get it on the same screen, but there.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Oh, Geshe La Song Shan Du Dulas.
디 마흉을 때는 안저 단다 범니기 som대야 때 나랑서 융의 밤배 녀모 림진 립 남이 메비 게종한게 패 리파 담비 최랑에 해제 원바템바 자세 라린 세데 때간을 버니기 고야 뭐 히버라데샤 투상야 뭐 히위게샤 때가 난시게 초도 gem바초 고데르 당알로데고 헤다 좀 기보 헤다 좀 시단디 나랑주디 초바디 가디나 기보 히오조도 가디 체스.
So it is gratifying, as by what Bernie earlier explained. It is very gratifying to know, like, how you all are grasping the essence of what is being discussed, and so that's really brought me so much joy and happiness. So I really appreciate, even though this is a small group, but the understanding and the grasp each and one of you have is very, very helpful and tremendous.
티체디 체자 나 가디이나 산노 가르땅게서나 나란조 뒤서지라 소소게 맹간나로는 년고 가는 거게 그 뒤서질래 오래 대뒤 소소는 저 먹을지 소소고 머체 제단데 리샤 상사 된죄래지 조고야데 개첨보래 샤 상사도지 따디 지 간소게 지 가르쳐라 잠바나로라 레고야라 타 소소 산노 코디되 된데답지 레디도스.
So there will be a day where you have to lean your head on the pillar, and either in falling sick, or in hospital. So that day will arrive as to all of us. No matter of when, it's a matter of time, not when but how. So therefore, what is most important is that at that time, then you can say with confidence that you have no regrets, that you have spent your life meaningfully, that you have done things in your life, and now even your last breath, or when it comes to the end of your life, you have no great regrets. So we all need to make that kind of efforts, where we can just lie down peacefully without any regrets, by doing what is needed to do while we are alive.
시다 얘기 산노 땅땅데 켄자 히버에서 단다가 가르상고에서는 개체규대 나 셈데 란상데도 생각 가디나 셈데 장마다 셈데 쉔쉔 소다보다 저세그로 셈데 지게 도반남도다 근데 매바 냐근요게 매바 지 가르서그로 장리리다 지다 지 연샷도 본다 지다 텐덴다 버치 고야데 개첨버를 상고도서 수부테 동발을 녀만 뒤난뒤 짝가보 차나야 차 당동 얘기 쉔제 카실 가르러기여서나 체랑주 겐고르네 투체 마제스 체랑주 한바 마헤스 간세나 체랑주 겐고 차야 소테 연마도 겐고 차가 말을라니 대얼러기 영원에 상에 상고도스 저 셈데라레 야 셈데게 로종다 셈데 견샤도 보지다 셈데게 지 야와도 두어게 예라야 부 해신고야 돼.
So I have this thinkings, this things always comes to my mind, like everything really boils down to our mental mindset, like in the sense that what kind of clarity of mind do we have, or the purity of mind do we have. So in terms of like aging, it really it's just like whether you have your hair turned into white, whether you have a frown on your face. It's really like artificial. So it's just you can say about you may say this is an aging, or it is a time catching up, but what is really most important is that how you can keep your mind young, youthful, and then that is really key. So sometimes our minds lose its directions, or have no clarity, have full of suspicions and doubt and so on. So how we can overcome that and keep our mind youthful even though our body is aging. So that is very, very important. I tell I tell youths, sometimes young people, I tell them never ever look down upon elder people, senior citizens, because you youth people, you might never have a luck or opportunity to ever become an old or senior, because that they were fortunate that they lived that long and so on. So I believe it's all boils down, when we talk about religion, it all boils down about training our own mind. So the mindset is really key to everything.
ngaran so ge jewa de de jije ya chanlu yuya de de nije gewa se de de hiwa se de ngaran so zubo de ge chuni re de res de subo de ge rodan re de res de ke len de nan da man de nan da de kora ngon rodan ta ga re de re de den de yimba song zang we ne chu de ke len gu ya da ma to su so gon de ba kan ro me ba de de ne ge se bo ji den gu dus ngan so mi seng ge den de ba kan lo shu chen mo ro de res.
So what is reality is that birth, and then grow, and then aging, and then death. This is inevitable. This is the life cycles, of our human life cycle. So this is a reality, and nothing can defy that. So this is what we need to understand. But sometimes people might have a desires, a strong desire that they want to go in certain direction or certain ways, without understanding the reality of our life. So it's very, very helpful to understand what is the reality in our life, what is the nature, the nature of our life, the real nature of our life.
Ngo tene na wachi tene na wachi yin te khasan ti ngarang so ti dan rewa yo be thone ta tri ngarang so ge heni kar so tro zambo ta tro ngimba ti ko tel ke cha de he cho wachi is.
So the earlier my commentary is more related to what we went over last week, and as a final thought or footnote to it. So today we will be going over the evil companions and the good companions.
Tene imba song za nganzu tro ngimba de pangure se ne tanda chi koma di ge song yo re tro ngimba ge kecha de kandres le res la ba ina ta nganzu di khasan tene ma khan la ma song yo de nganzu go muyu thatu de samji go kompa duya de che dechi thatu de duya che do din se na ta nganzu la tang naya menjo chaya menjo semla chi topa da namto da rewa da tende mangbo ramra maimba chi sen de chama changja chi lula ya chi sen chama chawi wang ki lula ya lu sen ge ko ju go wone lu ge shawan ramra che me ba sun cha an maung bi ge naming gen de ya dungye singe de chona yuya menjo naya chaya tende chona yuya menjo 다도 대지세야 돼 산지고 공파세야 돼 루기 인세네 다데 루야 돼 자세 상주 셈베게 데 루그레 자세 상주 셈베게 데 루바 셰발란 루바 셰발라 자세 상주 셈베 라렌라 라리그레 자세 상주 셈베 라렌디 제고그레 셈데 땅안서 자위 무유 깨찬다버데 데레스.
So when we talk about evil companions, so it is it's more associated with what is our final ultimate goal. So our ultimate goal is to attain enlightenment. And so when you have when you have attained enlightenment, then that is when you will have everlasting happiness and peace. So therefore, keeping a very pure mind will help us to alleviate sufferings. And how maintaining a purity of mind is also a way of Bodhisattva practices. And so evil companion is introduced in that context.
근데 인디 잠반에 제가 된다고 산지 좀 공부할 루발 제발라 땅 안솔은 원에 전에 단조고 물리는 것이 생겨대 창되어래 루틴 야쁜 던더지 여기를 된다고 따따 루 통에 그 루틴 야쁜 던더지 여기를 땅 마두나 판보레세네 아니 때네 마게 잘래 온디 잠반에 아니 가르송고도 세나 단조고 물리는 것이 내 토디 루고군두스 아니 대 루바 제발라야 아니 ngaran choke chi karase ko phayu de pang phayu dan de ke shedam dan dacha go shuri je de sa go yod so la hewu chaji mundus ani so ke sacha de ya wemba de le ten go dus ani de zang ji ma che pa chen de la ya chasin shu chen bo ma je ba chen de jang ba ge che do sha wa la ya yin ju mundus ani chen de le tang go dus ne de je ne pan le un de zang ba ne 다 원나 공파데 루디 간레직 부레스나 단도 tropochila tengo gore tropo zambol tengo mato ngembal tenjo mare tropo ngembade pangore sen te kecha pangre tus lessons.
So how we come down to this point of eradicating or avoiding evil companions is that what we have been discussing and highlighting so far is like human beings. We were born in this human form and in this human life, and we have so much potential, the potentials even to achieve Buddhahood and enlightenment. And so, since we have so much potential, if we don't try to realize our potentials, try to accomplish and do good thing, then it really is very regrettable. So therefore, in order to be able to accomplish something, we need to avoid attachment. We need to avoid these things, hatred, and then we can achieve all those things by going to secluded place like a retreat, and then only also to avoid thinking or doing only what you need to do in this life. You can think about your future life. So with that, it comes like in order to achieve that, the kind of evil associations we have, how we can avoid that and see with the good companions.
Tende indi nganso brother lens ki tanda chashi ti nalo la ma ji ngarang so drilling ji che sa du mango ni yanjo ji chore chi do te pe misi ya pun do se huma so nyima re no la ngarang so ti drilling ronjo te ta huma ne pha lane so di ma te so ge rogi yanare dege yanare para de wala pansi rage yanare khar che ge yanandi nyima re la lo thol jo thu ge yanare yanam to sta go yanare di chajen ro ji chetuna nyamar re no themar re chetuna pe ya boyores.
So as Brother Lance allows us to read from the beginning or repeat what we went over last time in terms of the 37 Bodhisattva practices. So this is a very perfect idea, a very, very brilliant idea and practices, because the more you go over and read those phrases and the verses, and the better it will get into you, and you will understand its meaning and significance. So and it will also kind of create a good conditions for you to understand more that is coming. So this is a very well thought plan.
Oh, teacher. That dende che on the zambane che za ta nganzo ki o tsidi ke karasong bare sena o kantan ro na dusum penju hins tösam gombe shawara nyamju bas shamda nije mepa jojepi ronge pon jase lale yin song ro la ta kantan ro na se tu susun dribo che 파로보다 녀보체 냥로 냠도 냥자체 던데 샤와 두디에 냥도로 안된 로데사가 미지 임바체 Tendawe teta nyamro nyamdu nyangza chene soso gu jula goya ke sem hide de ya mpewa che mogoya nyomu tusong de ya pendo gunduna ta telen zengu gores ngara cholo mogoya de nyomu tusong derwa ane te mache tusong nyomu de pecha wi hinchela goya ke sem hide pampe zonge ke thosa gonsong ke shawa de ma nyamro gores te nyamcha wi hinchela thosa gonsong ke shawa de Jase Shanchu Sambata, Nyamyu Yunge, Shebu Tambana, Ma Dangachin, Song Yanjo Yimba Song Zang, De Ma Nyam Sasuna, Shamta, Ninje Tam, Chik Yempen Seando, Tsote, Meba Chanu Grace. Tende Yimba Song Zang, Chonge Seade, Nyomu Tusun Ya Power Chingeke, Ropan Roron Duroji Chapa Ina, Tate, Shamta Ninje, Meba Songe Tere, 가르쳐로 퇴상 공성의 샤와디에 냠바 중에도 임바 송자 땅안서 대소다 장rin스 제국이요레스.
So, under what circumstances that you should avoid evil companion is like so wherever you go, whoever you go, and whoever you are close and familiar with them, and any kind of those kind of associations that kind of proliferate, amplify your three poisons. Then that is the one that you need to avoid. And because, for example, when you go out with and you have a talk with, you have a close familiarities with the so on. So anything that's kind of bring forth those three poisons in you. And that is what should be avoided, and that's why we call it the evil companions. So under that circumstances, you need to avoid the evil companions, because when those three poisons are amplified or increased, then it is also have the opposite effects on your Buddha Dharma practices, because this is also a source of decline. It is also a cause of degenerating or declining your love, your compassions, and so on. So with those in mind, then you should try to stay away from those evil companions that brings you those kind of three poisons to you.
Pena Nagi Karina Kadina Karatango to Sena. Naranzo Pugu Chunju Joro, Pugu Chunju to Tambo Machi when a Taneke Samba Kabu Kacha, Chi Susu Chi Milan Rachachata, Niembunda with the Lake, Chiemashing, Trambo, Transha Cheding, Susul can't go but the good Muguba de Mugos love to me. Chi Casa Shasen Nansenda with Pugu Chunju, Samba, the Samatanja Yabushujum to us. And tenene ko rimbi shoso nana ya chalung re undi gegen yapo ta dropo zambo ta yapo tende thero cheba ina ti mintine ya yapo chaya tende yapo tende chaya go koyu den do khol te mayin bache dropo ya chapa nge se da tende ya gegen ta teso ya ti khensa bo nda tende ya koyu go nano la phama ya ti si khensa bo nda tende yo na ya khora rangi tende nda cha undi chambane ane ya chalung chung de kol sem khang ge sano tang da de yin phata chuta jesa de koyu ge jembe khora ya tende chano ya te mangbo do was
Yeah. So why we say to avoid this kind of evil associations, to stay away from this association, is something needs to be explained in this way. Because when we were born, we have this things. We have no this things, any kind of evil intentions or so on. So when we were born, we have that our mind is very pure, and then we knows no pretenses, And then we are very sincere, we are very honest and transparent. So a child, when he is just born, he has those kind of quality. Everything is so pure, so transparent, so uh, unpretentious, and so on. But then as the child grows up, and then he tends to associate with other peoples, other including teachers, their peers, and so on. So if they ended up having met the wrong kind of peers or the wrong kind of teachers, then it has an impact on them. If it's a good, they become good. If they are also something bad or having some kind of bad influence, then it will also tend to have the same effect on the children's. And same is for parents as well. So whoever you're associated with, then you tend to kind of reflect their characters in you. So therefore, whoever you are going to be associated with is going to have a tremendous influence on your way of life as well.
Can I ask a question? Can I make a comment?
Sure, please.
Many of us have children, have families, we have friends and so on who have young children and so on like that. And they need, as you just mentioned, they're being influenced by these, by their teachers and by other family and friends and so on. So how do we encourage our children to kind of be able to not necessarily avoid these people, but how to be able to deal with these people and be able to not be negatively influenced by them? Because they don't have the defenses that we as adults might have. But these young children, need to be able to develop that. And maybe as they grow older, they will develop those tendencies, those defenses much better than even we did and so on. So I guess the question is, how do we test our ability to be able to maintain our control of our emotions and at the same time be a positive influence on those who would seem to be evil or raising our hatred or our desires or our ignorance? How would we be patient and work with them?
This song to karsere ta chige pugut la shooting ko la sona sona stapena nami nere chingsa inare ani topo inare zog shooting ngempa chona ani khuran so ran yin me bi ngempa chandro yak tandi yu ta til ji doni hetha da bo ji kanji yore pugut so shooting ngempa shosu mandro ya da bo ji kanji yu karida bo ji chiya na kaisna mi gemba ina testiya shuji mandro ya da khuran so la ji songchong da bo ji yore de bugu chungwa de zo la si mi se songsho da khuran so la digi ji chishwe da ji senare chajin de med de ani khuran so la karinda bo ji ki thoni roba she tu gore pen ro she tu gore dere kaisna 아니 베나 미겜바 이바이나 아니 되기 투구든 솔로 파지 슈지 잠본다 보지 용야라 가린다 보지 난투구레스 아니 오 미겜바 돈소글 하파도 아니 부구든 솔라다 메디비기 차가수지 소소소소 송조다 소소소소라 안디 조야기 되기 차진데 메디디 미겜바스 부구솔 미세 가린난투구레 람된 가리헤투구레스 데송도
라소 단다 대주여와라 제장에 단계 담보디 해야 돼 다가라니 나로서 부구 춘춘 그 셈바디 문에 전에 효고 까보다 찌빠찌자랬다 레까보다 찌빠찌자 콜로 천도 간데지 점 맞제때 코유다 로팔 라레 데바다 세포 세자레 아 근데 인도 제장 공사 조이나 접수체 C learning 세네 송야지 도와 단다디 이 돈에 단다 도도 가리는 메히 간다 만다자 나나 좀 로아 밀 고야게 란치 수여비 그 장주 요르와 쥐어봤어야 돼. 로와 멀라 구야기 단치체 란치수 여디게 장주데 nga dechi gogre chola dechi gogre ngala dunge mogo chola dunge gogo mare se tende ke so tsama se ina da samal rinde tan chine tende wi ke zangju ko gonghi ju yorwa te ngana so lonse na la chugu ta tingone chona te tanda ngana so labda pugula ina anti yore thiri yore social yore ane so language lan yorwa la te nagi ke ngana so zangju ko lonse se ya de 지 쉬운 중바이나 럽작 나노로 요구에 지다 대마주나 파마기 지 쉬운 거 차네 잠주 그 럽자한테다 로종지 떼투고야 돼 따뜻 빼면서 개청보 인사를 저러면지 공기 타투 때 인사를다 잠물이 쉬운 그 헤데 차야 그 무윤다 왔다 맞잖아 띵야 돼
so as earlier I said, Brother Lance, that when child is born, he is very, very pure. He or she is very, very pure. It is like a blank white paper. So anything can be written, and then on that blank white paper when a child is born. So he's like that one. So therefore. How so one very important question is how child or young people can cultivate that good moral characters because human beings by natures have these things, the compassion, sense of kindness and so on. So how we can cultivate that kind of traits in human beings when they were at the very young ages. So with that comes His Holiness Dalai Lama's far-sighted visions of introducing a curriculum known as C learning, which stands for social, ethical, and emotional learnings. So what does that mean? It's like this kind of curriculum is introduced at primary schools in the K to 12 education systems, and so the hope is that when you were having the good influence, when you're having the good educations at a very, very young age, then you will grow up to naturally become a good human beings with a good moral characters. And so if that visions and far-sighted visions of His Holiness Dalai Lama is accomplished, then it will definitely bring more world peace, more self-confidence in individuals, and as well as peace in community and worldwide peace as well. So that is how His Holiness envisions when you talk about the young peoples, and that's very important.
yanzu jikhuya kar yosana ngarang zu nyamnyung ro che bayina nganzu chunchung yin de dene kar yosana pama re pinja re yanchi soso ka ashang de chopa de re khona ba so ke mbuse ju yo mare mbuse na dikpa yores pena mbuse bayina charang subola ma tyonggar da se yan ra tende ke sonyu yos mbu phase bayina charang la tigin rabo chene charang 힘만로나야 차랑라 띠뜨발라치 찡에 괴차 던데 용거르다 세네 던데 글로서 정유여스 던데 인디 잠반에 남속 고미히라고 찔 춘춘간에 부세야 그 쳔베게 센제 옌파 엔델 세와 제야들 람히긴 젠데 고야티 코유나라 던데 용유여스.
So I had this experience like when I was young, because fortunately I have a uncle who is a Geshe, a learned Lama and scholar. So his advice has been never harm other human beings, including even worms like insects. So what he tend to say is like they have the same feeling as human beings. If you harm or kill an insect, even a small worms or insects, then it will have a bad karma. It will bring bad karma on you. You will bear some of the consequences of your bad actions. So, since I was brought up in that kind of environment of non-violence and peace, teach or advises, then it really seeps through me. It's really become a part of me, and it has also become a part of my habit from restraining, from doing any kind of harms to others. And so that kind of the environments in which you were brought up and the kind of educations that were taught to you and the lessons people give you is so important in our future way of life and our conduct. So that's really having making a difference on us.
야 양체와 찔레 먼저 tumba 친제 나노라 보고 근데 소소레 로카시 게임바다 나란소 로체 냥보 든레레 어느 축하는 로디 로야 뒤체 찔라 nganso ko tumba chinse ke nganso le lo ni se gemba pugu ji res ko nganso tema ji chukal ro de chamba ne beba mangbo dus ane beba de so gi di chi gi dos u jane di yama ko pik pik chi gi do de je de chamba ne nganso pugu de ro pa de kar la sena o de beba de ge kar so manji chi gi res kar se ore mo pa je gi res chara pala hiwa hiwa chara ama hiwa hiwa lo gi res tati yapuchona mare nganso beba se gore la sons tambo korang do shini se sons ana nganso ke sambala ngai sambala ya ota abashiwa sho amashiwa sho lagyo na da pesar sane ngai do jeni se ins ane jel nan chule cheni ya tinya da ra de da tne chunyu yes.
So when I was young, in my village, like when we go to rivers, to a lake, so where someone who is 2 years older than me is with us, accompany us. So as we go to the lake, we saw frogs, right? We frogs, and when we saw frogs, frogs tend to kind of say something with the it come out something from the neck, and it kind of popping out or something like that. So the 2-year-old elderly young man, he told us that when this frog is doing that, it is scolding, or it is kind of what you say, what's exactly the words, say something bad or against your parents or so on. So with that kind of thinking, he tend to harm them. He tend to kind of throw stone at them, and then my thought was also like, oh, if it is something against or insulting or scolding or like a casting spell, casting a bad spell against parents, then I too couldn't kind of control myself and throwing stone as well. So this is showing like how evil associations tend to lead to something very, very consequential without full understanding of its own actions.
다 딘데 인디 체장에 냠뉴로 뺀다고 니지 해봐yin 딘나기 나랑서 참말라 냠뉴 히고 요레스다 딘디 나랑서 그 까르까르 나랑서 곰제디 제공 요레라 조공 요레 짭 까르까르라 나랑서게 수소 조 잠보다 체베게 샤와 잠보라 간데슨 론도 까르 수소 조 냠바다 체왕게 조 냠바다 체왕게 샤와 냠바 티시 뉴 현조 던데 간데슨 루현 뉴바 레도 tenin su talo kandres jamdo tendre suso nyamnyu tiya shodon jap sano mambo tanchene jema tsawore tsamore suso ku pacha puju chola ane tendre channel hoti tiya da nyamnyu peya da oti chena te phento tende yungre sangudus 마토치게 나란소 라와 찌부 깨자 히에지네 부고 코랑코랑 라와레 콜라 라와 고레세 근데 히에지네 가르체네 제주나 짜오니니 용사 말레스 코효 까보다 찌바레 촌도 나보 티코나 빼사그레스.
So I just give you two examples, one in association of good company and the other in association of evil company. And then we can contemplate as when you were associated with the evil company, then how things unfolded. At the same time, when you were associated with a good company, how things unfolded for you. It is very good to meditate on it and contemplate and think deeply about how the sequence of the actions and how it leads the others and so on. So this is a good kind of a contemplation or way to meditate on. And then at the same time, what I would like to say is we need to advise, we need to guide young kids with such an examples, by telling them stories, by telling them, by be an example or by be a role model, and by speaking to them and try to make them understand the issues and the situations, not by just letting them do whatever they want to do, like giving them complete independence. Because if you do that, then a child, as I said, is like a completely a white blanket, white pages, and then they could, fill it with a very bad color, or can, it can become a very something. They become very bad or very good. So there's this thing is always open for them. So therefore, it needs guidance. It needs advisors. It needs good role models. With that, then the children can be taken to the right directions.
What was the Dalai Lama's an acronym that you used in the very beginning when he was talking about sea or seal? I think it was.
Yeah. Kundui ki tanda dila gwere, sea learning laidere. So the acronym is SEE.
Oh, SEE.
Yeah, sea learning. We used to say sea learning, and I think it stands for, let me check, social, ethical, social, emotional, and ethical learning.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
공사 쪽에 네 쇼쇼지 학과에 만나 공사 쪽에 시 러닝 세대 접수치 가르송 거르세나 나라도 출루 그 계좌 많이 받지 출루 나로로 송견조 따두티서 계좌게 해 먹어 받지 로아 밀 랑기 그 구야데 가르세나 쭉 나라 잠보 제고는 네 출루 잠보 제고래 나 카콘서나 나라 출땡에 출라고 그래 뭐 파켜데 카콘서나 출땡에 파라고 그래 대 존다 버치네 나라서 코윤데나는 찜피 찌조다 찌라 찌땡다 아니 던디게 차네 담보네야 살롱 좋은데 코유 쉬운 거 차네 던디 임바 마도 지게 녜게 체도 철을 짜자 제된 조선다 철을 뇌체 제된 조선다 양지 멋지게 체도라 몇 동나 몽볼 뇌체 제된 조선다 던디 마임 바제 쇼초 최용 거 차네 덥시 매바 히델 흰자 용야다 던디 그 로존디 냥가데 던디다 버지레 도아티 송데데.
Yeah. So His Holiness Dalai Lama's so this is the idea or the brain. His Holiness is the brain behind this social, emotional, ethical learning. So what His Holiness Dalai Lama tends to teach young kids is not religion. It is a secular education. It is a secular. Nothing has to do with the religions. So, for example, what includes in Sri learning is like self-awareness, life self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and then responsible decisions, and so on. So, with those kind of thing, then it is really going to help the kids to grow as well-rounded individuals with good moral characters, as well as responsible, mindful, and so on. So that is the idea behind His Holiness Dalai Lama. Because if kids were immersed in this social sea learning, then they will definitely tend to become a more peaceful, more responsible individuals.
제가 로아 밀 란치수 예비 군호 잠주세야 줘와 군호 잠주세야데 시바솔단 최용의 찬에 랍다나노를 야보지 첩투로 제바이나 마음반을 코난바초 게겐지 차바이나 게겐 잠보장샤 게게 잠보지 멤버지 차바이나 멤버 잠보지 청조바지 차바이나 청조바 잠보 장자지 ana tenan shi yung kuja kandre ke mandawe ke neyo mandawa kandre chi chapa ina trambu tangsang une tane chi zamchu yodinge tendre chi chapa ina na chuso chuyung chane shide chaya de jacha janda chi redo atati.
If the children's, that the children's are the like father of the future, so as what I mean to say is that if the children were inculcated, or if they were taught this good human natures, good moral characters, then it will be very consequential in the sense that later on, in whatever professions that they enter into, whatever trades that they engage in, then they carry with them that good traits, that good human natures, good moral characters. And so people with those kind of good moral characters will contribute very positively, bringing peace to the society and to the world.
Chuluda Mandevi here Yapena Chasan Chamdogorova, Yishu inanda, Kache inanda, Namba inanda, Jewish inanda, Hidden Samal Gugure, Shamsen Samal Gugure, and a Chimpi Chidro Seat and Chasan Gugure, Tendimba Sonsa, and a Chingunet and a Chuludan Keja Shemugoache, Shadapa Kamugoache, Shunguchane, Samal Ranches Yodeata, Ranches Gudeade. ane lapchengi danga jire he sangu dus tati ngone nganso dus tadena tagaran rediors ngone chula.
So I think this is His Holiness Dalai Lama's noble thinking, his noble teaching, because it is not religious, it is a secular education, and in that sense it has a universal appeals. Irrespective of what is your religious faith, it still relates to you. And so therefore it has a profound impact on humanities, irrespective of your religious denominations. This sea learning is applicable, is relevant, applicable to all followers, for all practitioners. So therefore, it has a more outreach.
Thank
you. Please, Brother Lance, if you have anything else to add to it, so I will just pause that at this time.
Well, thank you. The only thing I would say to add to that is for all ages as well, whether it's young people or it's older people, senior citizens included, we all can use this sea learning to improve our place in society.
Sea learning, the sea de Puguchunju Jibula Jimate, and on to Log Gempa Yimpa the solo Pento Shibuchi, Kayo Layogi, Koto Yuan, the Peg, Tendio, Redus, Niti Carnation de Johnsos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ngal chesan ti ngarangi ti America chuso thongbe thone ngala semthe chi karyo sena America ke shetam meg rawa ke neche thombo che rangin sulayina ya rawa ta thotan ta teso ke neche de pe thombo yinde pugu lo chobje leon sona pugu khorang karche na dopa che gure se ando kecha de hyu chembo chi hiende tene ke ngege sanola pogo koranzo tedu suso ke rawa te yunsu zopa te suso ke lenye ke namchuen jeya ke namchue de yunsu zopa tedu kero chena dan rigu de tedu konsola tena tsangma je mewa che yawa da duwa yera che ya ke namchue ke shera tena chasang marawa che ano koranzo la pama ke tanzin de mewa che ano koranzo ke rawa de tus pesho che tang de tedu chong yemba mangpo che che ne 보고 야보 망보 키워지 보고 톨란 로고 멘로 삼산다 지다 리존 로데 든지 통데 진두스.
So, my experience here in American society is that American teach ideals like individual liberty, freedoms, and so on. Particularly, it is said like when young persons who attend 18 years old, once they become 18 years old, then they have complete freedom. They have a freedom to marry. They have freedom to join the armies and so on. So they have complete kind of freedoms. So, but my question is, when they have attained 18-year-olds, have they also matured enough so that they can distinguish the bad from the good? Do they really have that kind of level of intelligence and the competencies where they will have self-restraints, where they will be able to distinguish the bad from the good, and so on? So my doubt is that some people appears to be not haven't matured that enough, even though they have achieved complete independence. So because in that conditions, like once you become an 18-year-old, then parents have no supervisions, have no sayings over you, and then the kids have a complete independence. So if the kid is mature, then that's good. But if the kid is not mature enough or don't have the intelligence, then they may be going to the wrong directions. They do something very, very stupid. They do something that's really harmful for them. So I doubt that in American society, when kids become 18-year-old, uh, due to lack of this kind of guidance, due to lack of this kind of spiritual help or guidance, then many young youth might go astray. They might lose their ways, they lose their directions, and so on. So I doubt if it is not happening in that way.
Yes, I think that's very good. I do want to be mindful of the time, and I think that the next verse about spiritual friends becomes part of that answer, becomes part of that observation, how spiritual friends make a difference in our lives and how we need to choose our good, virtuous friends and so on to help ourselves and to surround ourselves and our families and our friends with spiritual friends. So I think that's who have those virtuous values, I think is very important. So maybe we can talk about that to keep this conversation going. Somebody raised their hand. It's Kunga. Kunga, would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you. It came to my mind that the influences for a lot of us, maybe even more so than our friends, are what we see on social media, what we see on TV, what we see in the news. And for me, you know, giving up my my daily NPR has been giving up a bad friend. Even though NPR is in essence, a good thing out there, but I found that there was so much reporting on greed, and aggression and ignorance, that it wasn't helping me in my practice. It was actually making those spending a lot of time, thinking about those seeds and and seeing other people act in ways which I thought was inappropriate was bringing up feelings of aggression and hatred in myself for those people, which is sort of a violation of my what I felt like, what I wanted to feel. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
It's kind of like feeding the dragon or something like that. You're reinforcing the negative.
Yeah. Thank you. Ta kuri gi dis song do tanda kungala soya de tanda shujin ta tandi kola soya de tendin ta tropo gi shujin tandi legu re hapa do ta tensang an chu so ta ja ge tu chi tu ko tu se de red hyore the Korigi Tanda NPR says Tanda di Sanju Julanchi, di Tanta Koranguma del Gabo, that the Shago and which Chasons, Kansan Dinalola, and it and the Nisutun Mancho, Jin Dachare, Shedare, Tumuri, that the last of and Duke Tole. Goyadun Sama Tunso than David Tology Child, and he dig Nala Pia came Mundus, and Nala Chinea to Pia came and do the Nigi Penatri Lasso by a Shagwe and with the touching Yampa, Shujinda with the Tandi Tony or Gilewag, Choaji Tiamundi, Nala Pia, Tendinate Mindi, Yit Mindi, and Magatandilo, Tinia, she had the Tanshaya, Tandi, and Chichonsons, Nidil and Duchonsons. Thank you, that's very nice.
Nga tangi ji hyogu ya. Chonge pangwa jase lali yin song rwala. Ta nganso dila yang kowa chik jagu gore, chonge pang gore se de soso la tengwe chungpa chinze ina re, tengwe soso ka labda kaso lo chopo ina re. Tendri chik ta nyam donro ko ki shawa ngenpa cheto chikido na, soso ki ko yuk gore se de yawa yuk gore, ko la yame tangsha gore, ko peti tharangpo shaasha gore se, di kecha chibo kojuma yin bache. Suso koko wang wala pa mando wache, shawa ngenpa tiga wala pa mando wache. Suso ki shawa zambo chida, kuno zambo chiga tone, ko shawa ngenpa tila pa do tuwa chero chena ti ang tambo res.
So when we talk about evil companions, like stay away from evil company, it is not necessarily mean like that you avoid your neighbors, your old friends who might have not be such a positive influence on you. So what it means is try to not be influenced from by those evil associations. But if you, with your own power, with your own ability, if you can bring change in those evil companion, then that will be a most welcome things as well.
Oh yeah, teaching chocho. Ta tinyam tol nga yang ju chi hyo kar yosena. Ngarang so phama so inare, ma gemba so inare, pugul tando manche phama dire ta. Phama ki pugul shamche yore, ta tsewa te ramche so yore, chi chi ni jang de jo sonda te mare, te imba sonza. Tsewa te ki tsam tsam la pugu ke kar san dena te te yang zonda, kar tung dena te te yang zonda. Tsam tsam la pugu ke kar chen degu yose laba ina te che chunge zonda. Ane pugu ti si chi che ma chuwa che pugu nguwa ina awa shatsa pugu nguendo go ta che sha chuna maton digi mare se la ne che chune kabre kare tsewa che ta ne pugu changlang toya yungo do ne shulu chenpo chaonde pugu pedi cholan do ya tende ne so ya yungo do as. Tende indi tsamba ne nganso che tsa namcho da dembi ki to ne tsewa yoba manshi che ane chi lenye ki namcho ka na suso ki namcho di ti pecho ta ne che goya chi ta yama mambu chi le ta goya de ke chenpo do as.
Tu sais, on teste droite ligne tu So here, one example that I would like to bring up is like parents do have so much affection, love for their children. However, some parents I have observed that they do whatever their kids desires to do. For example, they want to eat some certain particular things, they want to drink particular things. So if they were unhappy and started to acting in a weird way, so parents even tend to entertain that and by spoiling them whatever they want to do. So that kind of affection, that kind of love for their kids, allowing them without any reservations, without any restrictions, it's not necessarily a good parenting. Because parents have to have a lot of wisdoms and have to have a good understandings, and then with which they can give love, show love and compassions, but not necessarily giving up completely on the kids and let them just have a free run, have a free ride for everything that they want, which might not necessarily be wise things. Thank you. Brother Lance.
Thank you. Shall we continue with good friends? Is there more to say about good friends?
Yes.
And thinking of them in terms of being more dear to us than our own body. I think that's a very important line and instruction, and to make a point about that.
Okay. Dear to us than our own?
Yes, it says holding sublime spiritual friends even more dear than one's own body is the Bodhisattva's practice.
수수 그 류포 리짱 아니 단다 디 게위시니 야포 dunso ditsa che tengure soyadi lalin sudi magti rendo tinanga shimbo chi rendo til inchi meni chi sano tongwe ya de hijagwe shindoas.
Really. 단다 간주 치 감마데 조보 냠바데 빵사레 빵고레 세드 다 만소기 수간지를 마템바 나란소기 자세 산주셈베 라네디 제투고 말바 다 조보 잠보지를 땡고레 에세야데 츠디 레고여와.
Yeah, so we talked about how to avoid, stay away from this evil association. So it doesn't mean that we completely stay aloft from anyone. So, but what it really says is the next is avoid evil association, but embrace good virtues, sublime friends. So this is exactly what Brother Lance brought up, and that's what it is says. So who we need to embrace and who is dear to us, that will help us to advance our spiritual practices. Should we have some question answer, or should I move on with the explanation on that?
If you have more explanation, I think we should handle that. If anybody has any burning questions, but if we're keeping with verses 5 and 6, I think that would be what Geshe should speak about.
Okay.
Lance, I had a question if it's a good opportunity if we're pausing, and it's about 5 and 6.
Okay.
It's a very practical question because I work, and I'm sure like several other people, in very divisive environments just by nature in the West, like people's language and speech, gossip, toxic, and I have to be in it. I'm sure Matt, you have to be in it, Kunga, Ernie. And then also, I guess, where is the wisdom when you're making, I guess, skillful decisions about the company you keep, good or bad? Where if it's maybe, let's say, evil companions, but like you have to be around them. Like Kunga said, he could turn his NPR off, but I can't get away, from certain situations. And we have our skillful techniques like mantra recitation in our head, but at what point do you just, if you can't leave an environment for some practical reason, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to ask the question, and it's more about staying away from people. I call them energy vampires, Lance, people who are just going to drain you because they see that you're like a flashlight and they're coming around you, but their intention is not to up level spiritually. I feel like it's our responsibility, like all of us here, to see if someone's really trying, because Lance, you took a chance on all of us, so we're here, right? You helped us up level. Is there a point where if someone is sort of walking that fine line where we're like, but they still bring out the bad in you, but you can see they're trying? I guess I'm trying to practically know like where you cut off and say, hey, like you're really not good. I wish you well. But I believe your intention is you're just wasting my time, right? Versus you're really trying and I should allow our connection or spend some quality time. I'm trying to phrase the question, right? If that makes sense, where I can get a practical response, but it's
Well,
like.
I think what you said is very good, and let
Okay.
Dorji translate that and let Geshe answer that.
Dorje, Was that too confusing when I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, if you can, the explanation is very good, but if you have one direct questions, I would be happy to direct
Okay.
just
I
that.
think I think the question is if we each of us can tell someone is struggling maybe with their intention, like maybe they don't know the Dharma, but we see there's possibility, but they still have a lot of negative habits, right? But we don't want to give up on anyone. We want everyone on the boat, but we're such new practitioners. It's easy for us to get off course. Kunga had to turn off NPR, right? So does he have wisdom in saying, okay, if you haven't reached a certain level of skillful means, stay away from those situations? Like kind of like if I'm an alcoholic, I can't be in that bar for about 5 years. Because I feel guilty when I'm not taking phone calls now because I'm like, that person is so good, but they're going to pull me back. Like the way Kunga said, like I'm going to get quickly back into negative habits because I'm not solidified yet enough.
Okay. Yeah. Ta kori di sung do twa de karasugre pena ta tanda ngan chu gi nang chu gi lojong she de sa ge ta chopa chunju di di brother lens le kadin la ten chen koran su chama chu andi ten twa chu ru zo to ge den da bu ji chung res ta ina ya chu so na lo la ta koran su ko le ke cha shin ni ne re ani koran su ko du cha shin ni ne re kari ne den di gi yang koran su pa 카쇼도야 파카 텐도에 드디고 다지 탤런트고 마소나지 드디 여바다 코난주고 뉴바에지 여반다고 드디다고 지인데 여레스 텐디 단예단 드디고 월라 수수기 대단다 수수기 셰단다고 간디다고 지 제고고레스 수수기 단다 가리 냥리 제고요 반 딜르 모토야 드디라 지는 문투투에 셴바기 지 가르스그레지 카트스나레 셴바게 지 야소솔 로바 티터 단트니다 우지 제게나 들 먼저야게 수수템보제는 네트웨데 간디나보 자신보레 기신보레지 송로시
투체랑 안도 디요르와 버낭로로 다 공부 조사를 쩌스지 로카히만 킨젠 지메편조 초기 가르송르스나 람추 마효스 옌셈 마투 송로라 다디 당아 첨부 히우즈기 요스 람추 마효세디 수소기 샤와 직 문에 전에 조 잠보라 템비기 수소기 샤와 잠보 두덴조테 아네 직 축가디 템보다지 네체네 연다가 야마세소는 조초초로 많이 받지네 템보지 대야체 아니 되게 효도는 양지 연가 가르마도 야 가르세소나야 딜 파르보 센투디고에 던데 깨차게 해 먹어야지 오 던데데 개첨부 빼인사레스
So your questions you as explained to me reminds me of one phrase or quotations by a well-known Tibetan Lama in Tibet. He already passed away now, Khenpo Jime Phutso in eastern Tibet. So what he has said is like something to this. So don't lose your own head, or what you say, like be steady, be straight fast, and be steady and be straightforward. So don't lose your own self, or don't lose your own head. But at the same time, don't disturb others' mind. Jense matula na me jemba se matula gyorwa.
뭐야
So at the same time, don't do things that kind of would disturb the other's mind. So this I sees as a very, very important kind of a mantra. So not losing your own head, be steady and be straight first, and at the same time, also don't do things that would kind of disturb the other people's mind. So this is a very important mantra to me as far as I understand.
pena ngala pense chunjuji khya yos ngarang dan dewe thone pena shatan nangju youtube ta chicho ke chalam den na la kangju maju ten ding to so la ta min nam ju yeng se gore to so ge ta dang ti khensa yor was ti imba song za 년차랑 나랑 대화 연조 내가 자치뭐 먹이 나라 주초 그 장남된데나라 야니 야도 대연신에 마사마가 따디 딜 야와랑인도 두어랑인도 디트는 괜찮은 문도에 든데 랑이 중송스 이나 나랑 그 센을 해게 매워체 아니 나랑도 추도서 문에 단에 하산난다 그 대인바체 대인바 손단디 샤와디야 진핀 지도다 찌라 찌땡게 loje yodenge ge semi chik dange ngarang so shanda ni je tan tende ge kol ya komphe ton denge tende ge khoyu ji imba sonta te ngande na muntu ni shudi ge yos phege lange khar yona ma de lam yawa lange yona duwa lange yona chi so sen de tembo ne chen.
So I have a personal anecdote or examples to share in this way, as what Zachary earlier said about the things that people will always try to attract to drag you away and so on. So in this case, for example, YouTube and social media, because since I'm a part of this YouTube, I'm teaching and we're discussing Dharma. So I have friends, even closer friends, who advise me that saying, okay, when you appear on YouTube, it is kind of everyone is seeing, and those who are appearing on YouTube frequently is not looked up to that very well, don't have that kind of very good reputations. So he kind of tried to talk to me away from this. But however, what I see by appearing in this group is that whoever is study is very sincere, and at the same time, whatever I try to tell them is also based on my years of study and understandings. So there's a very good motivations. There's a very good intention from all sides, and this is a very very kind of coming together of a heart and mind, and to try to make a change in the most effective and best way. So with that kind of convictions, irrespective of what others says, I just friend happily continues in this study sessions and appear on YouTube as it is needed. So with that kind of thinking, it is not going to affect me, whoever says whatever, because my motivation is very clear, and I have that kind of strong conviction that this is beneficial for all who are a part of it. Thank you. That's much for me.
Well, thank you very much for that, Geshe La. Thank you. Tukshe, thank you. Does anybody else have any comments or questions? Yes, Gunga.
Mute.
Sorry. Earlier, Pemidorje, you had said, you had brought up the line, cherish spiritual teachers even more than your own body. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking that, as it said in the earlier verses, our own body is impermanent, but the influence of the spiritual teachers will hopefully take us beyond this incarnation and have great benefit for us in future lives as well. So that's why it's so important to cherish the spiritual teachers beyond the physical body, because they're more long lasting. Thank you.
Okay. According to this one, the Karsugre, Tenguela Susugu Lude, Ani Karsugre, Givishini Yantabate, Susugu Luli, Jan, Cheseg, did Jasi Laling, Jasi Lalin Suduma, Giti, Subati, the Kran Guada, which Kariles Lana, the Susu Givishini Yantabate, Gi, Ani shooting la Tin, Susu 새 심할 인바이네 베디 바차다 슈팅테 그 든지 그 뉴바 진짜 들리티니기 송고 멘도스 가이스나 수수 그 루보드 단다 루보드 수수 드엔다 보치 레디 혀레 단다 드니니 차나 아니 차레 죠 힘발 파지부 젠두고레 아니 수수 게위 히니디 다 죠 심할 인바이네 든지지를 베타르 부지부지레 슈진지 요기여사 디지니 든지지 송고 멘도스 코 고아트니라 보치 레송스 단다
다 tuji che cherang ko jasha jatagana radhyas nge samsochena.
Thank you so much. I think this is you got it 100% correct in terms of the sublime teacher and the body kind of comparison. So you fully understood it. Thank you very much. This is very important.
Di nge khanu khya chi kar yosena hene tamba rang lule chang chepan zimba jase lale yin sidi rang lude yawar torhyo rang lude penche kanje thonge mare singe zonda tinde mayin bache ngarang chu lude ngarang chu la cha chenpo yin ba de ngarang chu yang chi thongchyo da chi re de yorwa suso gu lude suso la cha chenpo hiwa yin bache tang ngan chu ngone lo jang de chamba ne linde tanda charang gu somba na ye lo kachwe degre chi lo ti tso rimthong kachwe chere ane lünde la chi hebo chi ke chasen che de ke lünde ke kachwe chi chigido tende sano chi tam ane lünde tanjo ko mulu rumbo chi chi che ndel lepa to so changa na ngone chane ha lebe lepa yapo namju yapo yonjo tele ta 이게 현이 gewi hene tsa chengpo gegen tsa chengpo chege mtse chi tsangla mayin bache thatu ge dechi lana me bachi thoya ka langtuen chi kho ge che undi tsamba ne ta ngangso lungmene chane tsa chekhe de thatu ge dechi de yimba song tsang ta rang lule chang hene tamba la ten che ne ane hene tamba ti ki kundi ne ane thatu ge dechi joya de ta ke chengpo chi rekha singe zon raw chi charang soya de tata rege dus ta ngaso kacho mato kacho jana tel has ke rai mandus.
Yeah. So you captured the very essence of it so exceptionally well because what it says here is that when we do our so it doesn't mean that we should neglect our bodies. Our body is precious, so we should really cherish and should really good care of it. But it is the teachers, it is the teachers whose teachings can give us ultimate joy, ultimate happiness, ultimate happiness and joy. And so, therefore, it is far more consequential and far more far reaching. So, therefore, it is in that context, I think, it is explained. So, without me further explaining much, but you got it perfectly correct.
Tendera jira yin chucho. Ta che zang hene tamba rang lule cha jeban zin sendu. Ta hene tamba de jeban zin de nganzo ki hene tamba ki kuzu de tang chi nganzo hene tamba le hebo chi che ya gore se ya de tende ke cha ke ma yin ba chi hene tamba de ke ma yena mena de danga derwa. Ta danga de le chete che che ne danga de ngarang so lo chu jutho lo chi jar che ne anastem de na lo la during se ten de samad ma chama zoya chi sen de ngone tane he to chi zo thuya te ta langa yona mena te in sares lega yona mena.
So when we talk about treating the sublime teachers more important than our own body, it doesn't mean like that you have to so what it actually really mean is take the teachings of the teachers, not any other way, but because of all the physical manifestation, because of all the things, body, speech, and mind, and so on. So the speech, the teachings, that is the one that is so precious. So because it is the teachings, the mantra that can really purify us and enlighten us. So therefore, that is what is really is considered as to be so important, no, in terms of the teachers.
최전 디치 담번디니 송거다 간히 때나 네버 센주히 송어와 현에 담바데 템바이나 랑그 줄라 예베게 네전 타다마 센로 그레스 연대 때서는 양어가 다와나기 체르 도스 양어가 다와나기 건도 펠로 그레스 세진 바 송자 현에 담바데 랑그 룰레자 아니 제반진 그레 송야데
so it is said like 단다 간고 연대데 지야 만 로그레션 바 갈래고
마다 감히 때나 네버 센주 힌세 현에 담바게 르가 가르스 당하는 년바이나 랑고 줄라 예베게 셈게 드마다 네죠 타마 마 센로야
so when you seek teachings or seek the blessings of the sublime teachers, then it really helps to subside the bad things, whatever you have. It kind of help you to subside your three poisons related elements and traits, whereas then it will also help you to amplify and increase, strengthens the knowledge and the good elements that is associated with it.
Oh, that 도don다 텐데 이 티칸은 알아서 제일 전에 양조지 제초와 제스 디 게겐디 칸들 백 개침부 차도스
Yeah, so at later time when we can, I requested my brother Lance to bring up again, and then we can talk about the teacher, the sublime teachers. So we can have it on another time due to running out of time now.
Thank you very much. So I think, what we're doing with the 37 practices is we're developing mindfulness of our behavior, the things that move us in one direction or another, and to be able to learn to apply the bodhicitta that is within ourselves, within our heart center, the loving kindness, the compassion, the joy, and the equanimity. These are the four vast immeasurable qualities of the Bodhisattva. And this is what we're learning to manifest within ourselves and becomes our habitual tendency. So thank you very much, Geshe La and everybody. And again, Tashi Dile Sagadawa. This is a very special time of the year. And so Wednesday is the full moon, and there'll be many celebrations and practices and so on that are going on that you may be able to find online. If somebody needs a link to one of those, I'll be more than glad to forward something to you. If you can tune into something like that, that's part of making yourself available to spiritual friends. That's part of what that means, availing yourself of the community, being part of the community. It may not come to you, but you need to make the first step to take the approach to that. So maybe you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to see it online later on YouTube, but it's a wonderful thing to be able to partake in. So if it's okay, then we will do our dedication prayer for tonight. And so if you have the prayer book, I'm going to recite the dedication prayer. It is the Kagyu lineage dedication practice, because that's what I have learned and so on. But this is universal for all the different sects of Tibetan Buddhism and Buddhism in general. So it's not just exclusively for the Kagyu lineage or any other lineage. So we say, Dorje Chang, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Lord Gampopa, Pagma Drupa, and Lord Drikung. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessing of all the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue, may I achieve omniscience. by defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind. Where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri, the warrior, realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate word of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drikung Ratnashri and all the other great masters who are omniscient, lords of the Dharma, masters of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Om, Ah, Hum. Om, Ah, Hum. Om, Ah, Hum. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones for the benefit of all sentient beings. Thank you all, brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Georgila. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you
See
for the
you
good
again.
questions and
We'll
answers.
see you again next week.